Alright, welcome to the HotSchedules tutorial. In this video we are going to be introducing you to HotSchedules, and we're going to go over what it is, what you should know about it, and then 3 primary actions that we will need you to complete before you can get started in a position with us. So first and foremost, HotSchedules is an online scheduling platform. So what you see here in front of you, this is the web platform version, but HotSchedules also has an app called HS Team, and with that, same features. You can access it all with your login credentials through the app or through the website. So highly recommend you get the app if you do not have it already. So HotSchedules is, as I said, an online platform for scheduling. So with that, it means that we send out the schedule through it. For you as a team member, any vacation requests or days off are submitted through it. If you need to change your work schedule or update your availability, if you're looking to drop a shift and request coverage, or even if you're looking to pick up additional shifts, all of that gets done through HotSchedules, and that's something that we ask that all team members make sure that they know how to use HotSchedules and that they know what HotSchedules is used for. Two other things to mention before we get started into showing you the next steps. Things that you should know about HotSchedules is that HotSchedules falls under, or specifically your schedule falls under a personal responsibility for your actions. When it comes to requesting days off, submitting availability changes, all of that as a responsibility for you as a team member here at Chick-fil-A. We make it very easy through providing this platform, even through sending the schedule out 2 weeks in advance. So we just ask that you as a team member take personal responsibility for yourself in this matter. One, not only does it help us staff the store better to help provide a better working experience for team members, but most importantly, it gives a better guest experience because we do not have understaffing situations just because somebody forgot to request off and now they're calling out. So again, please just consider how it impacts the rest of your team and even the guests. So with all that being said, this now moves into the how-to part of the tutorial, and so we're going to be going over 3 primary actions that you'll need to complete before you can start in a position. So real quickly, the first is going to be updating your availability, the second will be requesting your time off, and then the third is sending messages through HotSchedules. So what you see here in front of you is, again, as I said, HotSchedules.com. So if you go to this and then you go to log in, you will be able to log into your account. You should have the username and credentials sent to you already at this point. If not, please feel free to reach out to me again, and I will send those to you. Or you can reach out to any director and they should be able to send them to you. So once you get to this page and you put in your username and password, you can then log into HotSchedules. And from here, it's going to bring you to your home screen. I am a bad example for this because I do not have a set schedule posted to HotSchedules, so I don't have anything on my upcoming calendar. However, for you as a team member, you would see your shifts. So if you have something for Tuesday, you would see it here in Tuesday. If you're working next Saturday, you would see that here in the 5th. So down here, you can see the different key to help you identify what your schedule is. You can also see if there's any shifts that you are that are pending a release or a swap, or you can see available shifts that you would be eligible to pick up. So with that, oh, I'm sorry, that was actually a mistake. Available to pick up would be in this tab if you click over here. So from here you can see anything that would be available. So for the first thing of updating your availability, how you're going to do that is going up here into the menu bar. You're going to go down to Settings, and then you're going to go over to Personal. So when you click on Personal, it'll bring you to really your account or profile page. From here, first thing we ask you to do is just go through this to make sure that everything is correct. So double check your birthday. Should include your phone number on here. I'm not seeing it here for mine, but double check all of that. Make sure that that's accurate. If there's anything wrong with it, please reach out to me and let me know. That way I can change it. Oh, here's your phone number down here. Sorry. So with this, your availability is kind of your set schedule. So with your availability, so for instance, if you look at mine, this was changed November 26th. It went into effect November 26th, 2018. And I have here that Monday is unavailable all day. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I have availability starting at 5:30 a.m. And then on different days, that availability gets cut off. So again, you can see the key up here for when you're available, when you're not available. And so this is how my schedule appears in the system when the scheduler is going to make the schedule. So if they see here that Monday is unavailable, it means that I am not able to be scheduled that day. Tuesday from 5:30 to 5 p.m. I am available, able to be scheduled. And then likewise Friday and Saturday, 5:30 a.m. to 12 o'clock a.m. Midnight, I'm fully available, can be scheduled. One quick thing to note on your availability: if you leave it open, it does not mean that you will be scheduled that. So that's something that's really important to remember. Your availability is really just us asking you what times can you work, and you saying, okay, I can work these times throughout the week. And again, it does not mean that you will be scheduled those times. So how do you go about changing your availability? For you as a new team member, you will need to do this before you can start. That way we know how to schedule you. But in the future, you'll also need to know it in case sports come up, your schedule changes, whatever it is, off of school, back to school, something happens. Anytime your set schedule changes, you would need to make sure you update your availability. So in order to do that, you click on the plus button. This is going to add a new calendar date for when this goes into effect. So you're going to have to select an effective date. And again, for your first time, you can have it go into effect as early as tomorrow. But in the future, please just remember that the schedule is made 2 weeks in advance. So go to kind of the second Monday out. So if you have here your first Monday and then your second Monday, that would be kind of the best thing that we ask that you do. Actually, I will change that, scratch that, sorry. Go 2 weeks out and then go to the following Monday. So if you're looking to change your availability and it's here the 24th, go 1 week, 2 weeks, and then go to the following Monday then. So that would be the 14th of October. And then likewise on this Saturday, if you're looking to change your availability, go 1 week, 2 week, and then put it in. This way it helps us because when the schedule gets done towards the end of the week, this way if you put your availability in to change here on the 7th, we don't have to go back and rechange all of your schedule and try and move things around. So this way whenever you change your availability, it goes into a week that is not currently being worked on. So once you have your effective date selected, you will need to put in a reason for change. If this is your first time doing this, you can just put in new hire as your reason for change. Helps if you spell correctly. And so with that, it will not let you submit a reason, or will not let you submit your availability without a reason. So if you now have done those two things, now you can go down to your schedule and you can see, okay, Monday's unavailable. If you click on it, it'll toggle back and forth between available and unavailable. If you want to change it specifically for a time, if you just click and drag, you can open up your availability. You can schedule up to 15-minute increments. So with that, it means 5 o'clock, 5:15, 5:45, 6 o'clock. Those are all available times. So just go through each day, and please click on Sunday being unavailable. It just makes it look nicer on our end, and it shows us that you have in fact gone through and updated it. But please just go through and put in your schedule. Once everything is done to reflect your schedule, everything looks good, you can go down and hit Submit Availability. And what that does, that will submit it to whoever it is that is making the schedule. From there, it will either be confirmed or denied. For the most part, most availability changes are confirmed. Sometimes we do have to deny them, though. Most oftentimes what happens in this case is somebody put the time in wrong, or if there is an instance where it's not meeting the expectation. So again, as we've gone over before, for team members, we ask that you're able to work at least Friday or Saturday. If you're a closing shift, we ask that you're able to work until 10:30 p.m. And then especially to close one night, either Friday or Saturday. For team members during the morning, we ask that you have availability again on either Friday or Saturday, as well as your normal schedule throughout the rest of the week. So those might be some of the reasons why you could see a deny. If it is denied, there will be a reason, and we just ask that you resubmit it and that it complies with kind of the commitment and the investment that we're asking team members to make. So once all of that is done, you'll hit submit availability. For me, it goes through and it automatically changes it and goes into effect. However, for you, again, it will need to be approved or denied. You can also, a neat tool to help keep track of your schedule, down here you can actually link it to a Google Calendar. So if you like using Google Calendars, this can help you keep track of when it is that you are looking to work. So that's just another feature that HotSchedules has. So that is updating your availability. And if at any point you have any other questions that I have not answered, if you click on this help button up here, this can actually go through, and there's a lot of different things that you can learn. So picking up shifts, adjusting availability, which is what we just went over. Some of these are features that are for schedulers, but some of these are also features that you can use. So if you have any questions, just feel free to go through here. Their help features are very beneficial. So that completes updating your availability. Now we're going to move into step number 2, which is requesting time off. For requesting time off, we refer to that as simply if you're taking time off outside of your normal availability. So instead of, let's say you need to take off a Saturday, instead of going and updating your availability to reflect that you aren't available that day, and then going back and updating your availability again to state that you now are available, there's a much easier way to just request a single day off, or even a string of days if you're going on vacation somewhere. So the way that you do that is go up here to the menu bar again, and then from here, under Home, if you go down to Time Off and Requests, this will bring you to a calendar page. This calendar page is very easy. If it is shaded gray, it means that you cannot request off. All of September has been blocked off as of right now. But if you go to the next one, then you can see that some of these days are still available to request off. So if, let's say you're going away the 2nd of November, you can click on the day. It'll bring up the request, the time off request. You can put in the type. You can either keep it as time off, which will show that you can't work that day, or you could put in a request of a prefer to work or a prefer not to work. This is often seen during breaks or things like that, where, let's say, team members are off of school and they prefer to work at night within kind of the consistency they've seen, or if they would prefer not to work at night and they'd want to try morning, that's something that you could do. But for the most part, if you're requesting a day off, put time off needed. And then from there, you can either keep all day selected, so you can just have the whole day blocked out, or you could put in a specific time. So for this, for instance, you could put that your request off is starting at 4 p.m. And that you need off until 11 p.m. that night. So that puts it in, and that blocks you out specifically from those times. One thing to keep in mind if you're going to do this as a sectioned time off, please make sure that you are accounting for what time you need to stop working, not just what time the event starts. Because for instance, if you put it in at 4 o'clock, that means that we can schedule you to leave at 4 o'clock. So if you need to drive somewhere, please account for that. Also, if it is a vacation or something, you could block off a range. So from here you have the from date, you have the to date. If you click on the to date, you can go ahead and select whatever day it is. So if you're taking a week vacation, you could click on that and put it in for a full week. And then similar to updating availability, we do ask that you put in a comment. And so for this, we just ask that you put in the comment. It actually won't let you save it without the comment, but please be as specific as possible, just to help us identify if it does get down to we need to deny a request. It is first come, first served basis, so as well as a combination of kind of the most important thing. So with that, if somebody, let's say for example, if somebody has a wedding coming up, or that they know about that's 6 months down the road, and they put that in, that wedding will most likely take precedence over somebody's request to have a pizza party that night. Wedding's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and that's those are some of the factors that we bring into consideration for it. Most of the time, it's not an issue. We rarely ever deny requests off. There are occasional times that happens, but for the most part, it's not an issue. So once you go ahead and put all of that in, then you can hit the Save button, and then similarly, that shows that it goes through, or it'll submit your request to go through, and the director that does the schedule will either, again, approve it or deny it. Same thing as availability. If it is approved, it'll go through. If it's denied, there will be a reason, and then we'll either ask you to resubmit it or inform you of why it was denied or declined. So that is how you would go about requesting a day off. As far as the blockout goes, so you see here that some of these are gray. This updates every Wednesday. It'll take the next week out. So if you make sure, if you're looking at this week here, if you want to off the 14th, you'll need to make sure that you do that by this Wednesday, which that would be tomorrow, the 25th. But just make sure that if you're going in and you're requesting time off, that you submit that by that deadline, because once that week comes and it gets blocked off, you're no longer able to submit for it. So again, bringing it back to personal responsibility for actions, stating that, oh, I forgot to ask off for it, I didn't have enough time. These are things that, this is part of working at Chick-fil-A. Sometimes you will have the opportunity to say, oh, this actually genuinely popped up, and that would be something that we could try to work with you on, but for the most part, that is a personal responsibility on your end to make sure that you are able to keep up with your schedule and to make sure that, again, that there aren't any issues. So sometimes, that does involve, or that does require, if there's an event or something, just saying, hey, I'm sorry, I can't make it to that event, I've already been scheduled to work. Or even one thing we would strongly suggest, is make sure you have a calendar. Ask your family for upcoming events, dates, things like that, parties that are coming up. Make sure that you are taking responsibility. And again, really the biggest reason for all of this is because it really does impact the team if you are not there for that scheduled shift. And most importantly, it impacts the service that we can give the guest. And so, when there are short shifts, it can be very stressful for team members working that to pick up that additional slack of that missing person. And then the guests also see that in slowed down times, rushed orders that have more mistakes and things like that. So that is the second part of requesting time off. Lastly, the thing we want to go over is sending messages through HotSchedules. So once we're finished with all of this, or once you're finished with updating your availability and requesting time off, if there is any, we're going to ask you to go send a message to our scheduling director, which at this point in time is Jess. So if you go to, again, the Home tab, go to Messaging, go to Inbox. From here, you'll be able to see all of your messages, and you can click on New Message. And from here, you can compose a new message to see, and you can see all of the people that are here in the system. As of right now, there's only one Jess, so that is her. So you would select Jess. Your subject would be ready to start, and then you can go ahead and send a message to her. This would be for your first time. If you're sending that message once you complete everything else in the orientation stages, then send that message to her. Again, another thing to point out with HotSchedules is this is for all scheduling related matters. So if you have requests off or questions about changing your hours, anything like that, you should go through HotSchedules. You should use the messaging feature, and you should send it to Jess to give her information on it. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to reach out to myself or Jess. You can use Crew, or reach out to any of the other directors as well using Crew. But for any scheduling related matters, go through HotSchedules. We can't stress this enough. Again, with 90 team members, 90 plus team members, Jess cannot keep track of everything by herself with pen and paper, so it helps if it's all done through HotSchedules. Again, helps her stay more organized, helps ensure that that request will not be forgotten or misplaced, and it just makes it very easy for everyone involved. So you can also, a neat tool or feature is you can actually select an entire category of people. So if you click back of house, you can see every back of house team member, and you can send out a message to everybody for requesting coverage for a shift or something like that. Which actually, for back of house, we ask that you go through and actually look and see who it is that's working that shift or that's not working that shift, and actually go off of people that you know work those time frames, because not everybody needs to be getting a message every time you request, but it does help show you who is back of house, who's not back of house. So that is scheduling, or I'm sorry, that is sending messages through HotSchedules. So again, once you are all finished and update your availability and request your time off if there is any, then you can reach out to Jess, so long as Pathway is completed as well. But yeah, thank you for tuning in to the HotSchedules tutorial.